Imagine a brand new smartphone. It has the glass screen, the battery, the microchips, but right now it's completely lifeless. It is just a quiet piece of metal and glass. To actually do anything, to light up that screen, take a photo, or connect to the internet, it needs an operating system. It relies on invisible software code to tell the physical hardware how to wake up and get to work. Living organisms actually operate on this exact same logic. Think of a biological cell. The outer membrane and jelly-like fluid inside are essentially biological hardware, physical parts waiting for instructions. Deep inside sits the DNA. This double helix is the biological operating system, a string of code telling the cell exactly how to function. If DNA is just software, we might be able to write our own instructions, put them into an empty cell, and watch it boot up. In 2010, a team of scientists set out to do exactly that. The project was led by researcher J. Craig Venter and his team. They wanted to test the limits of what we could build in a lab. They started their process with something simple, a tiny, naturally occurring bacterium known as Mycoplasma mycoides. This photograph shows a scientist analyzing a DNA readout. Using powerful computers, Venter's team mapped the bacterium's entire genetic code, reading its natural software letter by letter. Once they had that code saved on a computer, they went into the laboratory and used chemical processes to physically manufacture an exact copy. They stitched the chemical letters together to match their digital blueprint. When they finished, they held the world's first synthetic biological software. The code was written and printed entirely by human beings. But software is useless without a device to run it. So they found a second, closely related bacterium to act as their physical hardware. They carefully removed all the natural DNA from this second cell. They left the outer membrane and internal fluid completely intact, creating a hollow shell. Then came the crucial step. They inserted their manufactured DNA into this wiped, empty cell. The empty hardware sprang to life. It began to read the new software, following synthetic instructions to grow, vibrate, and perfectly split in two. The scientists didn't build the physical cell body from scratch. They borrowed existing hardware. But by swapping the code, they proved that synthetic DNA alone dictates how a cell behaves. This confirmed that DNA is the definitive control center. Change the code, and you dictate the behavior of the organism. Writing our own biological instructions means we can program cells to do specific, helpful jobs for us. For example, we could code bacteria with specific instructions to safely eat and break down plastic waste on our coastlines. We could also program microscopic cells to act as tiny factories, naturally brewing clean, sustainable fuels at the scale of these industrial silos. We can even apply this inside the human body, writing custom instructions for immune cells so they can actively hunt down and destroy specific viruses or diseases. Venter's experiment in 2010 was humanity typing its very first line of biological code. It showed that the machinery of life can be read, understood, and eventually written.